This might be the heaviest project I have ever made. It is almost 10 pounds, you guys. The only thing that maybe even comes close is the king-sized granny stripe blanket that I made out of worsted weight yarn ages ago. But this was made out of tubular yarn, which is one ball of it weighs 26 ounces for only 40 yards. It is so squishy, so plush, so heavy. Hi friends, welcome to another episode of the Cozy Cottage Crochet podcast. My name is Hannah. This is a podcast all about crochet. Boy, do I have some crochet to show y'all. A little bit of knitting. I have some knitting as well. Some sewing. I actually pulled out my sewing machine this week. And some cross stitch. So we have run the gamut of crafts and I have so much to tell you. We just have to jump right in. It's a weird day. It is a Wednesday for me. I know you're seeing this on Saturday. It is the last week before school starts. School starts for us in St. Petersburg, Florida on Monday. So Nova will be going to school. At some point, her quiet time will be done and I probably will still be yammering on. So she will come make an appearance. Noah is sleeping. Look at him. Oh. He just looks, his head looks so giant when he's asleep and I just cannot get enough of him. We've had a wild couple of weeks, we always do. But, you know, I'm not keeping it together very well this summer. Neither is Nova. And Noah was sick last week. He had a cold. Nova was sick at the beginning of this week. It's just been a little all over the place. I had an iron infusion this morning. Hence I have this thing on. I actually had one on this arm as well. Ooh, look at that. Because they blew 2 veins trying to stab me. And had to switch to the other arm. So this arm I'm sure is going to be purple and green for the next couple of weeks. And I get to go have 4 more iron infusions. Because insurance only wants to pay for a certain type that I have to go once a week for 5 weeks. Instead of the one that I can get like 2 infusions and be done. We'll talk about all that later. Because I have feelings. Feelings. Does anyone know what that's from? It's from Shrek. One of the best movies, I think, that came out in the early 2000s. Grab a project, y'all. Put your seatbelts on. We got stuff to talk about. Okay. If you're looking for me on the interweb, this is where I hang out. YouTube is my jam. But you can also find me on Instagram as the Cozy Cottage Crochet. And if you have anything to say about the podcast specifically, please email me, thecozycottagecrochet@gmail.com. Oh, look at that. There's a light bulb growing out of my head. It's going to make it look like I have a really great idea for this entire podcast. What if I move you up a little? That doesn't help. There's just going to be a light bulb rolling out of my head and it is thundering. It's about to rain outside. So the lighting is weird. I feel weird. It's a weird time of year. It's almost fall, but there's no fall in Florida. We have summer, almost summer. That's what people call fall in other parts of the world. Christmas and love bug season. Those are the seasons we have. I don't even know where to begin. I have so many finished objects. It's actually ridiculous how many finished objects I have. I might as well start with the one that I teased at the beginning of this episode. It is the purple rug, the meditation rug that I made out of yarn that I got from Joann's 2 days before they closed. I had never seen this yarn. There were 6 balls of this yarn. I grabbed all of them. This yarn retailed for, I think, $25.99 regular price per 1 ball. I got it for $3 and I bought 6 balls. So that's what, 18 bucks? And my goal was to make as big of a rug as I could to kind of do meditation on. I have a little butt pillow, a meditation butt pillow that I sit on when I meditate, which is not very often, but I try to like get a few minutes and clear my mind because there's always chaos going on in my mind and around me. And I'm basically a baby, okay? Like my bones do not like touching the hard floor. We don't have carpet in any part of our house. And my ankle bone, like I sit crisscross applesauce and my ankle bone was on the floor and I could put like a little blanket or something under there, but just wasn't ideal. And when I saw this yarn, I was like, I'm gonna make a rug. I hope I'm gonna make a rug. Guess what? I made a rug. It is finished. This is the yarn, big twist tubular yarn. Like I said, I had never heard of this before. It is 40.4 yards and it weighs, for those 40 yards, 26.4 ounces. I had 6 balls of this. I did the math on my calculator app. Obviously, I didn't use my brain on this last night. You remember a long, long time ago when our teachers and parents were like, You have to learn how to do this math because it's not like you're going to have calculators everywhere. Guess what? We have calculators. Prove you wrong. I have a teeny tiny bit of this yarn left. Ooh, and it's running away from me. It's under the chair. This is all I have left. Definitely not enough to get around the entire rug again because I started from the smallest part and it's growing and growing and growing. So this is what I have left. It's probably a few yards. This yarn is essentially a knit fabric tube with polyfill on the inside. Now I just thought this was polyfill, like you could just pull it out. You actually can't. It's like a tube of polyfill. So like all of the strands are going in one direction and they actually don't separate very easily. I'd have to like peel this back and really pull to get it apart. Like this does not come off, which makes me feel better about the durability of this project. So this is how much I had left. I don't know how much that weighs, a couple ounces probably. I used all 6 balls and I'm gonna have to stand up to show you this because it's massive. It's so massive. Are you ready? This thing weighs 10 pounds, you guys. 10 pounds. I don't even really know how to hold it up. I will try to insert some footage of it laying on the floor. So essentially what I did, if I can get it closer to you, I started with a chain, like a crochet chain, because I did this all via hand. There's no hook in the universe, I think, that could work with this yarn. So I finger knitted it. I tried to start crocheting it. It did not work at all. It killed my elbow. It was a pain in the butt. Didn't work. So I was like, okay, we're going to switch to finger knitting. But I couldn't figure out how to do the beginning because the yarn is so thick. So essentially what I did is I made a magic circle and I crocheted like 6 single crochets and then I started knitting from that. So it was essentially like a crochet cast on. I increased like a normal increase pattern. So on the first round, I increased every single stitch, then I knit around. And then I would increase every other stitch, knit around. I did all of that until about here. This was curling like nobody's business, okay? Like it was basically a log. It just rolled up in on itself. So I was like, okay, so I need to make some ribbing to go around it. Let's see here. So then I started doing 2x2 rib. But on this first, I think I did 1 round where I increased a lot. Like I might have increased every single stitch or every other stitch or something like that. And I did 2x2 ribbing for a little while. Then it was getting kind of tight. So then I increased to a 3x2 rib, which you can't really tell unless you know what you're looking for. But you see right here, there's 2 purl stitches in between and now there's 3. I basically added a purl stitch. I increased a purl stitch in every single one all the way around. And then I left the 2 knit stitches as it is. So I increased and that really helped it to lay flat. I basically cast off in the stitch. Like if it was a knit stitch, I cast it off as if to knit. If it was a purl stitch, I cast it off as if to purl. And I really love it. It is so heavy. And it is so plush. Like, look how thick this is. This is my cast off edge. I wove in the ends. You turn it around, which I did by hand. Again, these are the little tubes. I think that this has been through the washer and the dryer. I probably am going to go through with some actual sewing thread and a needle and just sew, like poke that polyfill inside, close the tube, and then sew it down so that there's no chance that this will come out. Because they're woven in pretty tightly, but still, you know? Let's see if I can sit down. Get a little closer to you. Wearing this monstrosity. So my kids love it. I could barely get them off of it to wash it. I just threw it in the washing machine on a regular cycle. It says machine wash cold, lay flat to dry. I knew if I laid this flat to dry, it was never going to dry. So I did tumble dry it by itself because it's 10 pounds. And it's totally fine. It's still a little stiff. I will say before I threw it in the washer, both my kids were jumping up and down on it and playing on it, et cetera, and it flattened out a lot. So I think just by using it, it will flatten out a lot. And I'm trying to decide how I'm going to store it. I may roll it up like a yoga mat. And the first time I roll it, I'll probably roll it with the right side facing out so that it has a better chance to lay flat. So this is a really good view of the increases. You can see they kind of grow and grow and grow and grow and grow. And then right here is a 3 purl stitches in between the 2 stitches of ribbing. So I don't even know how to I don't know how to handle this thing. I can hold it up, but it's 10 pounds, you guys. It's 10 pounds. Let me fold it. Oh, this is what it looks like. It's massive and it's so heavy and it's so wonderful, and it's going to make the perfect meditation rug. It is exactly the right size. I can sit in the middle of it and my feet don't dangle off the edge, nor my knees dangle off the edge. It's not so big that it's obnoxious. It's just exactly what I wanted it to be, and it was such a fun project. It works up so quickly. I found the ribbing really hard to do because it's not like it folds up and it's not like it's on a needle, right? So I was having to turn it every couple of stitches and like get closer to it, and at the end I was like leaning way over trying to get it, and I didn't want to fold it in half because I was afraid some of the stitches were going to come unraveled because they weren't attached to any type of cord. I was finger knitting this. So I don't even know what to do with this right now. It's mahoosive. It's mahoosive. It is just the biggest thing I have ever made, I think. It's definitely not the biggest by width. I think that's my granny stripe blanket that was king sized, but I really think it might be the heaviest. Like, I really think so. So this yarn doesn't exist anymore. I don't even know. I had never even seen it before Joann's was closing, and it just happened to be there at the exact time that I happened to be there 2 days before the store closed. And that is why I bought it. But I am really, really happy with it. Oh, God. I'm going to flop it on the floor and maybe, well, it's not exactly a good view because it's poking up in the middle because I just threw it on the floor. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to have that done. It came in from Joann's. They essentially gave me the yarn in a trash bag. And the trash bag is now almost empty. It just has some future WIP yarn that I'm going to talk about at the end of this episode. So that is finished object number 1. And I will try to insert some B-roll here of the rug. This is the rug. It's magical. We have a little drop of wonderful here for size comparison. Glowing neon against this purple background. So you can see my little chain start in crochet, and then I've just increased out in knit. Some of the stitches are a little wobbly, like this one is short and smushed, and this one's better. But like, I think it looks fine. And I love how the ribbing turned out, and I just love it in general. Nola, you want to sit on there and give everyone a size comparison? Do you like this purple rug that I made? Yeah? Is it squishy? You have to sit right in the middle because it kind of pokes up. I think the more you sit on it, the more it will be flat. Do you have anything you'd like to say to the people? Hi. Are you excited for school to start? Yeah?
These are sleep bags, but I cannot get to do it for Anna.
Oh, did you put socks on them to make them sleep?
Yeah, because I'm pretending they're sleep bags. Can you help me put this one on? Because I can't put it on.
I can in a second. I just like to point out that these 2 dolls have socks over their faces, and they're just sleeping. They're not dead. Just sleeping. Okay, say bye to everybody.
Bye.
No, you have to look at the camera.
Bye.
Okay, well that's done. What else have I been working on? So many things. Let's talk sewing. I actually pulled out my sewing machine because my husband wanted me to hem a pair of pants. This is just a regular old linen pair of pants. He got them at Sam's Club, which is like a warehouse store. And they were about 5.5 inches too long. He said it was fine initially. This was several months ago. And then the more he's wearing them, the more I could see he was unhappy with them. And finally he was like, can you please hem these? And I was like, yes. I have been waiting for this moment. So I cut off 4.5 inches off of these pants. And it's not like my husband is that short. Like, I don't understand why these pants were so long. I cut off 4.5 inches and I still had another inch to play with, pretty much, to do the hem. So I was very, very careful with these. I did possibly the straightest sewing I've ever done. There's a wobble on one of them, but in general, like this is, look at that seam. You see that double seam? I do not have a serger. So what I did is I ironed, I pinned, I measured, I used a pencil to mark, and then what I did is I actually folded the pants inside. So I took, after it had all been marked and pinned and everything, I folded it inside, pressed it down, and then I sewed a seam all the way around. Then I flipped this back inside, back this way. I pulled out my rotary cutter and my cutting mat and I trimmed off the 4.5 inches. Then I still had, this is linen, okay, so it's going to fray and unravel if you don't capture that edge. And I didn't really want to zigzag it. I just didn't think that that was going to work very well. So what I did instead is I folded it over. So I'll show you. This top seam is the original seam before I cut it. So that was already done. This seam was already pressed. I took the excess, which at this point was about an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch. I folded it under. This is the inside of the pant. So I folded it under and I pressed it all the way around. And then I sewed it down. Just like that. So essentially I have a double edge, which is like almost like a serged edge, but it's not because I don't have a serger. So that the part that will unravel is trapped in between these two seams on the underside. Here is my wobble. On one leg, right here, you can see where it gets a little wonky. Right there and right here, it is not quite straight. But for the rest of the seam, on both legs, I have a beautiful straight stitching. And these fit him perfectly now. And they don't drag on the ground. They're not getting dirty. They're not getting stomped on. And he is very, very happy with them. So it took me probably an hour because, oh, there's some kind of stain on there. I'll have to get that out with my laundry skills. It took me probably an hour to do all of that. I did it during a nap time on Sunday, I think. And it just felt so good to get my sewing machine out again. And honestly, the actual sewing time was probably 10 minutes. Most of sewing is not sewing. It's measuring, it's pressing with the iron, it's pinning, it's remeasuring, it's cutting. Like the actual sewing and sewing is almost non-existent. But I am really, really happy with that. And it made something much more functional. I have pulled out my sewing machine a few times in the last year, but usually just to fix a hole in something that belongs to Nova. Because she is rough on her clothes, man. She like just yanks on them and pulls on them, and like the neckline will separate, the side seams will separate. So I've spent a lot of time repairing her clothing. But that is the first time that I've actually made something beautiful and not just like wham bam, run it through the sewing machine. Who cares what it looks like? It belongs to a 4-year-old. I'm just closing the hole. Those look really nice. It looks like they came that way. And I am really, really happy with that. That's my sewing. I would love to do more sewing. It's just so hard to do sewing with a little tiny toddler around. He's not tiny, he's huge, but it's really hard to do sewing with him around because he is fascinated by it. And there's a lot of sharp things, and he doesn't like, he got up. I was almost done with those pants. I finished the seam and I was just pressing them. And I had the iron up on the counter, away actually from the ironing board, because I was afraid he was going to try to grab it. And absolutely he did. Like he was on his tippy toes trying to get to the iron on the counter, and I almost had a heart attack. So essentially, I can't really sew when he's around or he's awake. It's just not possible. That's not the only finished thing I've done. So I've got a rug, I've got a pair of sewn pants. I have so many crochet finished objects, and they're all of the same thing. There are 9 of them total. I only have 6 of them here because I've already given away 3 of them. So I'm going to insert 2 clips right now, and then I will come back and show you the ones that I have. This is going to be a very chaotic clip just to show you a finished little drop of wonderful, because I'm going to be giving it away today, and I'm not going to be recording a podcast until next week. Yes. Can Mama show it for 1 second? So I finished it. This is a free pattern by Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. It's so cute. Oh gosh, Sorry, I hope the camera's not making you sick. It's teeny and sparkly. It is just an acrylic, maybe a 2-weight or a 3-weight yarn. I'm not sure. I don't really know any of the details of this yarn other than it's sparkly. And my ball is falling apart. So I finished it. It's going to the same person who I made this classic cuffed hat from Pearl Soho for that I showed in the last podcast episode. So I need to put it in a little baggie because I'm going to see her today, and I'm going to give this to her because she's having a really tough health time. And I think it is so cute. I'm too close to the camera. I also finished this one. I also finished this one. You're so close to the camera. I also finished that one. Can I have the purple one back for a second? He's just so cute and so sparkly. So I will put this in the clip. This is going to be a little gift for someone who hopefully will brighten their day. And if I can pry it out of Noah's fingers, he's very obsessed. I might have to make him his own. Chaotic clip number 2. Both kids are still sleeping. I'm in my pajamas, but I will be giving this away today, so I have to show it to you. It is another little drop of wonderful. This is made by holding the Joann's Rave yarn double. So I held the orange and yellow colorway double with the hot pink and orange colorway, and it came out much bigger, but it's so cute. I am giving this to the lovely person who has hung out with my kids 5 or 6 times this summer so that I could get a little bit of a break. And she's a teacher, so she's going back to school, as is Nova, in a couple weeks. So yeah, I want to give this to her on today, her last day, and tell her I love her because she is a little drop of wonderful. Okay, so you saw the tiny little purple one that is the cutest thing ever in the world. And you saw a pink one. Let me show you the ones that I have. So this bag, I have 2 bags devoted to this. I've been making little drops of wonderful. This bag came from Lynn of Daybreak Knots and Knits, and I just love it because it's neon pink. And it's my amigurumi bag currently. This is the yarn that I made that little purple one in. It is acrylic with sparkle, and it is coming, something wild has happened. It's becoming very tangled. So I don't have that one anymore. This is actually the first one I started making. Oh my gosh, isn't he so sweet? And it's sparkly. This yarn is, where's my ball band? It is an Italian story from Red Heart, and it is such a wild fiber content. It's 46% nylon, 28% acrylic, 20% mohair, and 6% polyester. I don't know if they make this anymore. I have no idea. My friend Amanda sent this to me. Several balls. I used a couple of balls in a giveaway prize, and then I think I have 2 balls left. And I wanted to make a little drop of wonderful in it because it sparkles. The sparkle catches much better in the light back here. So this was the first one I made, and I actually finished it except for sewing on the arms and the legs. I had to make all of the arms and legs. And so I have 3 of them to show you. One of them did not make it because it had to be cut off. So in the pattern, you make 4 little arms and legs, and then you sew them at certain points to your little drop of wonderful. I should have known better because this yarn has mohair, it has sequins, it is impossible to frog. Look at that. I made 4 of these. I started sewing one on and immediately realized there was not a chance in the world that you can sew with this yarn. Like, it immediately got tangled to the point where I had to cut the arm off. And then I was like, do you know what? I should have known that, first of all. And second of all, I think that I will just not have arms on this one. Like, isn't he sweet without them? With his little embroidered face. It's so cute. So he has no arms, no legs, but he's still very cute. This one, this purple one, I made bobble stitch arms and legs. And I thought that that came out perfectly. Let me show you. So this is living in a giant tote bag that I got at Primark when we went to the UK in 2018. I would love to have a Primark here, seriously. And what is living in here is all the rest of the ones. So I gifted that purple one to my friend who was having a really hard health time, along with the blue knit hat that I made her previously. And then I gifted another one that was pink that you saw to the person who has watched my babies 5 times during the summer for a few hours each time. This is the pattern, in case you want to look at it. It's Little Drop of Wonderful by Allie. Does have her last name? Allie DeBook. She's Allie from Little Drops of Wonderful. Fabulous. She has an amazing podcast. She has an amazing vlogging channel called This Little Wonderful Life. And I got very obsessed with making this. And so essentially, I have used almost two entire balls of the Big Twist Rave yarn that was sent to me by my lovely friend Kalisha. Hi, Kalisha. And I have used half a ball of Bernat blanket yarn. I think that the labels are in here somewhere. If I can dig them out, I will show you. So I've given, the third, so I gave away the purple one, I gave away the pink one that you saw. I did not take a clip of another pink one that I gave to another friend. She was my pelvic floor physical therapist a while back, but she is just a friend now. And she's had just so many people having tough years, you know? So I just wanted to make some of these. This is Big Twist Rave. That's what it looks like. Colorway Super Beach. I have it here. I wrote something on it and Electric Citrus. So this is the colorway Super Beach. This is Electric Citrus. I held this double. And then the Bernat blanket yarn is the colorway Aubergine, which looks like this. I had grand plans that I was going to maybe finish off that entire ball of Bernat blanket yarn and make some more of these, but I think I'm done. I honestly think 9 is probably enough. Is that a wild thing to say? I don't think I can get another one out of this. I think that would be cutting it really, really close, so I'm going to put that in my stash and with the other 2 balls until I decide what project. So here are 3 more Little Drops of Wonderful. Ooh, I'm going to drop them. 3 more Little Drops of Wonderful out of the Rave yarn in Super Beach and Electric Citrus. I just held it double. So one of the ones I gave away was pink and one of them was more like this. Nova is going to be the recipient of one of these because she is desperate to have a pink raindrop, as she calls it. So it's got just the cutest face. I just embroidered little closed eyes. I'm terrible at embroidering eyes, but I can do these. These are just bobble stitches. And the way I did the bobbles, I had to play around with it a few times till I found something that I thought really worked. But this is 4 treble or triple crochet, for the love of that. I cannot talk today. 4 treble crochet stitches or triple crochets in 1 stitch. And then I just went along in the same row that she would call for you to sew them on at a later point in the pattern. That's where I did the bobbles. So we've got 3 of these. There were actually 5. You can get 5 out of 2 balls. I could probably get 1 more out of this if I held it single, and of course it would probably be half the size. So there's those 3. And then the Bernat blanket ones, I had initially put bobble stitches on, but then I decided I just wanted them to look like the little gray one that I made already. How cute is this? So they don't have any bobbles, no arms or legs. They're just raindrops. I honestly want to re-embroider this eyeball. Something's weird here with this eyeball. It's like too sunken in. It's like a little crooked. I don't know. But aren't they wonderful? I just love them so much. I think this one is actually my favorite. It's just like, I just love that face. What do you guys think? So yeah, no arms or legs on these. I will say the beginning of this part in Bernat blanket yarn is really hard because you're only working with a couple of stitches. I think you start with 3 stitches, and blanket yarn can be hard to see your stitches no matter what, but when you're starting that small and increasing, it's not every stitch or every other stitch. I find the first couple of rounds to be really fiddly, but only in this yarn. In these ones, it was totally fine. So can I get these all in together? How cute. How cute are they? So this has just been my obsession for the last couple of weeks. This has been living on the couch. For some reason, my kids decided to leave it alone. I don't know why. No idea. But they decided to leave it alone, and therefore I got a lot of them done. I should just walk around toting these. I don't have the pattern memorized. I don't know that I would ever have the pattern memorized, honestly. But yeah, look at this. I'm so happy with them. You know what that was? That was YouTube thumbnail. But why am I doing this for a thumbnail? Because I'm going to have to put my 10-pound WIP in there, right? I just love all these so much. And then I have the teeny tiny one as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the one I showed you, 7, 8, 9 of those are finished objects. Plus the rug, that's 10 finished objects. Plus the pants, which I'm counting as a finished object, even though all I did is hem them. It's 11 finished objects. Plus, I have a pair of finished socks. So, are you ready to see them? Because I'm going to show them to you. Let's go. Let's go, people. Okay, I don't know why, but right after I recorded the last podcast episode, I got very obsessed with this sock, and I just had to finish it. I was halfway through the heel. I did the rest of the sock in the toe. I want to say in like 2 or 3 days. For some reason, I just had to do it. I don't know. Sometimes you just get a wild hair and you just have to finish things. Literally no idea why. But I am very happy with them. Ugh, they're so good. This is from Freckled Whimsy Yarns. It is a sock set in the colorway Little Nova that was a gift from a viewer of this podcast named Robin. This is how much I have left. I could probably make an entire another pair of socks out of these, but I'm going to put it in my self-striping leftovers. I have this much left of the gold mini that went with it. This was originally a crochet design that I was working on for a hat. The hat was way too big because my math was off, and then I just never got up the courage, the energy, the gumption to frog it and make it into something else or fix it. And so it just sat there for a while, and then finally I was like, you know what? I really need to do justice to this yarn, and I will wear these. I will wear these socks. So I made them. I made them into socks. This was the first one. This is the second one. This is where I was last time, just barely past the halfway point in the heel, and I've done all of it. There's something about self-striping yarn that just flies, especially when the rows are like 6 rounds. So fast. So I believe this is 75-25. I cast on 64 stitches. This is just my recipe. 15 rounds of 2x2 rib. I did about normally 20 rounds of cuff, but I think I did 23 or 24 rounds or something like that. Probably 24 because it's 4 stripes. I meant to split this blue stripe, but I didn't because I forgot. So the cuff ended up being a little bit longer on these. The ends are all woven in. This is a fish lips kiss heel, and then I just basically knit down to there. Essentially what I did, because this gold was so close and I didn't want to have gold from here down, I thought that would be too big of a gold toe, is I worked the gold stripe, then I just started the decreases in the white stripe and finished it off with the gold mini. So they are done. They are done. Thank you, Robin. I know it took like 7 years, not that long, but quite a long time to get this yarn made into something beautiful, but I'm so happy with these. Just have to take a picture of them and wash them, and then I can start wearing them on my toesies where they belong. And then I also have been working on another sock, and I'm so close to being done. Not with the whole sock. Like, I'm close to being done with one sock. You have to make 2. Unless you only have 1 foot, then you only have to make 1 sock. So I was working on these this morning while I was getting my iron infusion. And they are on magic loop because I have to do the toe magic loop because eventually a 9-inch circular, just there's not enough room to stretch all the way around. So this one has also had a lot of work. This is where it was last time you saw it. It was like just maybe an inch and a half past the heel. So I knit the rest of the foot, and I am more than halfway through the toe decreases. I don't know how many stitches that is, but I probably need to decrease 5 or 6 more rounds and then Kitchener the toe, and it'll be done. That's crazy. This is opal sock yarn. In the color, I have no idea. 11463 3678. That's what it says. It's opal sock yarn. I really am enjoying working with it, and I assume that this will make very sturdy socks. So same exact recipe. This one does actually have 20 rounds for the cuff, and fish lips kiss heel. Everything is peachy. I unless something goes terribly wrong in my life after I'm finished recording this podcast, I'm gonna finish this sock today. Today and not tomorrow, because it needs to be today, because I have plans for other things, like casting on the second sock. So that is done. I have 2 more projects to share with you. Oh, and a cross stitch and plans. Oh gosh, we have so much to get done. Okay, let's just pick up what's closest to me. I have almost finished my Skyrim cross stitch. I am on the very last letter. This is in a 8x8 Q-snap. It says, it's going to say Fus Roda, which is the shout that you learn, the first dragon shout that you as the player will learn in Skyrim, the video game, because I'm a giant nerd. And I've done the D and the A, and I'm on the H. I'm having to kind of edit this on the fly because I made this chart myself, and this H is not big enough. It needs to be like 3 rows taller and 1 row deeper down here. And so it also isn't wide enough. Like for some reason, I just like gave up down here and it didn't match. So I made this several stitches wider, this cross part of the H, and I'm gonna have to make these a little bit tall. So it may require some frogging, some ripping out, I'm not sure. I'm also not including this part because none of the other letters in the entire chart are connected that I know of. Let's pull it out and look. No, they're not. So this is my chart that I made. So none of these letters are connected except for this A and this H. And so I'm going to make a space between them because I don't think they should be connected. All of this is done. It's almost done. I'm trying to decide what I want to do with this once it's finished, because my initial plan was to put it in a frame. It's a thin, long piece. So I don't know, like, what could I make with this? I could make a little pillow, maybe. I could make a bag with it. I could sew a bag and have this as like the accent, but it would have to be a fairly tall bag. It'd have to be like this tall. So maybe I could put it as the accent on like a tote bag. I've never sewed a tote bag before. That's not true. I sewed one tote bag years ago at Sewcation. It's still in my closet. But this would be a very different kind of tote bag, and it would need to have some like pretty sturdy interfacing, etc. So I'm not really sure. But hopefully I will be able to finish this soon as well so that I can move on to the banana stand cross stitch that I showed you all last time. Another project that has gotten a little bit of love is living in this bag that Kalisha made me. It's Rapunzel and Tiana. And this is a bag. It's a pattern from the Hooks and Needles subscription box that I got last year. And it's just a little, my bag is all crumply. Where is it? I'm making this simply because I thought that the stitch pattern looked so cool. And I've never tried anything like that before. It uses a 3.5mm hook. This yarn is Merino Wildflower, 70% wool, 30% nylon. They gave me 3 50-gram balls, so I have 150 grams. I still am not through the first ball. Now, granted, it's not very big. It will probably take 2. So, where was I? This is where I was last time. And this project has not seen the light of day in a very long time, since probably before elbow surgery. But I added about 1 inch, and these rows take forever. It's actually so much simpler than it looks, because it looks like, what a cool texture pattern, right? But it's actually just front post and back post double crochet stitches staggered. So at the beginning of every round, you move over 1 stitch, and that's what creates the spiral. So I don't know, I mean, this bag is gonna have to be lined when it is done, because it's just a little round bag. It's probably gonna have some kind of drawstring on top. Let me see what they call for. I think I'm gonna need to line it, and I might even sew, like finish this off with a solid edge, sew the edge to fabric and have the drawstring actually go through a fabric bit that pokes out the top. Because, let's see if they have a picture. They don't really. I don't think they do. This is as close as it's going to get. So they basically have you make a crochet chain and then thread it through there. They say this is an advanced crochet project. I don't think it's advanced. If you can front post or back post, you can do this better. But yeah, I love how the bottom looks. I just think it's fabulous. Like, it would make such an amazing sock project bag, but it just takes a really long time to get around one row. So that has had a little bit of love. Hopefully it will get a little more love, but who knows? Whatever the mood strikes. The other project I wanted to show you, it really has not had any love. It has been frogged slightly. So it's the blanket that I was working on for Nova. I got distracted by all these little drops of Wonderful, and I think I blanketed myself out for a minute, and I just needed a break. I also just knew she wants a pink and purple and blue blanket, but I had very little purple, and I just knew she wasn't going to be entirely happy with the amount of purple that I put into this blanket. I wasn't going to buy any yarn for this project. I was going to only use stash yarn, but that would mean that the blanket would be like 50% blue. I'm like, I just know she would be happier if it had more purple in it. So I stopped at Michael's the other day and I bought 3 balls of yarn. I had a $5 reward. It just happened to be expiring that day. Weird. So I got 1 free ball of Caron Simply Soft. Oh my Lord, the prices on these. This is like $6 for one of these now. That's crazy. Crazy. This is the colorway Orchid. Very pretty. And then I picked up 2 of these Loops and Threads Soft Classic Acrylic, just their basic acrylic. And this is the color Neon Violet. The reason I bought 2 is because the Neon Violet color has less than all of the other ones. This has 252 yards, and all of the other colors have at least 300, which made me irritated. Just give me the same amount, you know? So I got that yarn. This is what was done on the blanket previously. And about maybe this much of a purple. And I pulled back the purple because I just wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I still am not quite sure. So we have here, we've got pink. This is Caron Simply Soft. This is Red Heart Super Saver. This is Caron Simply Soft and Red Heart Super Saver. So we've gone all the way through. And now we're on to Just Yarn, which is Premier. This is like a Dollar Tree yarn. This came from Arlene, who is a viewer of this podcast, and this is the colorway Fuchsia. And I'm just not sure where I'm going to go with the color palette that I have because, oh, there's my hook. I don't want that to disappear. I'm using a 5mm hook. This is the Neat Ripple Blanket by Attic24. It is a free pattern on her blog. It is the only ripple blanket I have ever been able to manage not to screw up the counting for. Probably because it's only 4 stitches in between. And I have a little mouse. A cute, cute little mouse marking my progress. So I've done 2 rows and half a row that I ripped out since the last time you saw this. So this is the ball that's currently attached. This is the yarn that I was about to start adding. But then I got this other yarn. I'm not sure that goes together is the problem. So I'm trying to decide if I want to start with that or if I want to do this, and then when this pink yarn runs out, switch to this, because I think that probably looks better than this. Yeah. So if I alternate these, then I go into this, I should get most of the way through, I think, these 2 balls, and then we can go into the darker purple and the last yarn I have, which is an even like plummier purple. In fact, I may go oh my gosh. What if we went backwards? I'd love your opinions on this. Oh no! I'm dropping yarn! It's okay, I have another ball right here. What if I started dark and went light? So I'm going light to dark on the pink. What if we went this way? And then does look a little better, doesn't it? I don't know. We'll figure it out. I think no matter what, I can't put that really pale lavender color next to this pink. So it's probably going to be something like this. But we'll see. I would like to get a little more work done on this coming up. But whatever I feel like lately is what I have been working on. So, I mean, obviously it's working because a lot of stuff got done. But also I was just stress crocheting. So I don't know. Is it working? Who knows? Who knows? Things are getting done. And that's all I can ask for. I do have some maker plans. I don't normally share stuff like that. I just share it whenever I start the project. But last night I was very inspired for no apparent reason. The apparent reason is I drank a hot chocolate at like 8 p.m. Why would I do that? I should have gone to bed. So anyways, I had sugar. Okay, and I was like, I'm going to get stuff done. Did I get anything done? No, but I did pull out some yarn. And it's all living in the remnants of this giant Joann's bag. Joann's garbage bag, I should say. Because I have a few projects that I want to make. The first project, I have two. I'm sorry, I'm going way off camera. Because I cannot reach all the way to the floor. The first project requires a little bit of yarn winding. Nova wants a stuffed cat, like a amigurumi, but like a floppy kind of a cat, not super stuffed. And she wants it out of this Snuggle Puff yarn that my friend Amanda sent me. And I don't think this is enough to make a cat, nor is it thick enough for what she wants. So I'm going to hold it double with this alpaca yarn that also has sparkle. I don't know if the sparkle is like coming through on the camera. But this is Snuggle Puff by Knit Picks. It is 70% cotton, 30% nylon. And it says machine wash, tumble dry low. This is Long Island Livestock Company. American Raised and Spun Color Pink Clove. It's just like a very pale pink. And it is 70% alpaca, 25% merino, and 5% icicle. And you may be thinking, why would you give something with that fiber content to a 4-year-old? Well, I'm not going to mind hand washing a cat. The blanket has to be able to go in the washer and dryer. She is not as sticky as she used to be. Noah, very sticky guy. Sticky, messy, slimy, gross. Toddlers. She is much, much better. She's almost 5, okay? Like, she's much better about not getting all over everything. And this will probably live in her room. So I'm not too worried about it. And if I need to hand wash it, I can. But I know that I can't really wear alpaca next to my skin. I haven't been able to since I was pregnant with her, in fact. But she's not sensitive to it. And I think that I can knit with it or crochet with it, no problem. I just need to find a pattern. So this will be a cat for Nova. I just need to wind that yarn up. I have, since I finished a pair of socks, the next ball of sock yarn that I'm going to use already pulled out. This is Halloween, because Halloween is coming. And this is a Hobie Halloween sock wool in the colorway number 3. Isn't that just the best name for a yarn? Number 3. It's a self-striping. I made the Christmas yarn into a pair of socks, and I highly enjoy wearing them. And so I'm going to make the Halloween yarn. I got this last year on some sale they were having. They were having like, it was like $7 for 100 grams of sock yarn. And so I bought 3 balls. Because $7 for 100 grams of wool, 75-25 sock yarn. Great price. And like I said, I've been really, really happy with those socks. I don't know that I've ever paid full price for anything from Hobie, nor will I probably, but I am really happy about this. And I love a self-striping sock. So that will be the next pair of socks now that the little Nova socks are finished. And the final thing that is coming up is the only other yarn I purchased from Joann's closing. So I went once 4 days before they closed, and I bought some buttons, some DMC floss, and these 2 balls of yarn. These were like $3 each, maybe $4 each. I think 3, maybe $3.50. Does it matter? No. Then I went 2 days before they closed, and I bought the giant tubular yarn that I made that thing, which wasn't there 4 days when I had been there previously, and I bought all that they had, and there was only 6 of them. This is Bernat Blanket Extra. It is the color Bright Lights. It says it's a number 7 jumbo yarn. You get 97 yards for 10 ounces. I bought 2 of them because it was the only brightly colored yarn they had in the entire store. Like, literally everything else was like drab and boring, and like all the good stuff had been taken. And I wasn't there to buy yarn anyways. honestly, I was just there to say goodbye to Joann's. And I got some DMC floss, which I've used. I've gotten some buttons, which I have not used. I bought some fiber pill. I have been using the fiber pill. I bought a little basket that now houses my cross stitch stuff. And then I bought these two and the tubular. Clearly I need to stop talking. I just am incapable of talking today. What is happening? Bought these two yarns specifically to make an amigurumi stuffy plushy situation. And I will see how big of one I can get out of this, but I'm going to make a crochet snake. I wanted to make snake for a while, and I thought that this yarn would be perfect. I've just been holding off on making it because I wanted to finish that giant rug in the Joann's yarn first. I'm probably going to use the Sara the Snake tutorial from Jen, who is Cinnamon Stitches. She has a Sara the Snake tutorial. There's also another snake tutorial from Ella of No Catchy Name. I will try and remember to link both of those below. Let me pause the video so that I can remember why there's a break. Turns out I had to stop the video anyways because someone, Nova, has to poop. So at some point I will be called away to wipe a butt. So yes, I'm going to make a snake out of these. I don't know how much 97 yards is going to get me. Is it going to be a good size snake? I just don't know. I might make one of the biggest snakes you've ever seen, or I might just make two identical snakes and give one to Nova and one to Noah so that they stop fighting over who gets what. So those are my plans. I feel quite accomplished. And before you're like, oh my gosh, how did you find the time to make all of these things? The rug took no time at all. It's the biggest yarn I've ever seen in my life. The hemming the pants took an hour. The sock I just got obsessed with, but I basically worked on it while I was walking around chasing my kids. And that it goes for the Little Drops of Wonderful as well. That was just how I got my sanity the last few weeks. So school starts on Monday. I can't wait. Nova can't wait. She's so excited to go to school. We get to go meet her teacher on Saturday. I think I already know who her teacher is going to be, so that'll be fun. I have my first iron infusion this morning, and I have to get 4 more, which is such a pain, but thankfully they have agreed to do it at 12:45 or 1 p.m. for the next 4 Wednesdays in a row. So I'm going to put Noah to bed for his nap. I should be able to get out of his room by 12:30. Rush over there. It's only 10 minutes away. Sit for an hour with an IV in my arm. And then if he wakes up, Josiah is here working, but he normally takes his lunch around 2:30, so he can grab him if I'm not home in time. Otherwise, I literally would not be able to do this because I don't have anyone to watch the baby. They won't let me bring the baby because people are getting chemo there. And I'm like, well, then y'all need to get on the same page because the first time I came, the doctor said, bring the baby. And I said, okay. So she said not to expect to feel better until after the 3rd dose, which that kind of sucks. But I just would really, really like to be less tired. Really like to be less tired. I feel like there's probably a lot going on that I could tell you, but I don't know. I'm just, my brain is mashed potatoes. I probably seem really excited and with it today. Obviously, I don't seem with it. I can't pronounce basic English words today. But I have had a real live Coca-Cola because I had that iron infusion. I was just really emotional this morning. I cried a lot. Neither here nor there, but I was just feeling so drained and so exhausted. And when I got home, my next door neighbor had very graciously watched them for a couple hours while I was gone. And I came home and Noah wanted to go to the park. And it is so hot outside, so hot outside. But he wanted to go to the park. He was just fussing and crying. He needed to get out of the house. So we went to the park that was a little bit down the road. And I knew before we even got in the car, I was like, I am not going to make it. Not only am I not going to make it through a podcast and the rest of the day, I am not going to make it through this half an hour in the heat at the park. I need some sugar and some energy. So I drank a Coke. I don't know if I'll regret that later or not. I did in fact need to go wipe a butt. Okay, this video is going to have how many cuts? It's going to be such a pain to edit. I do have one more thing to show you, and it was buried beneath the giant Joann's bag. I can't believe I almost forgot to show you this. So I made a hat out of Premier Deborah Norville Everyday Heather yarn. this is how much I have left of one ball. It was a classic cuffed hat from Pearl Soho. I gave it to my friend who has been losing her hair due to some health issues, and this was my last ball that I had in stash, and I was like lamenting that I have like one little scrap ball of this and like a scrap ball of the gray, and I was like, this yarn is so great. Now, I will link a Premier yarn below, their Everyday Soft yarn. It's very similar to this. It's just not heathered. So like they don't have the heathered color anymore. I guess heathered is not in style. I need it to come back because I am a big fan of heathered colors, especially a heathered blue, a heathered gray. Oh, I love it so much. But this is older yarn, and they don't sell this in the yarn anymore. You can't get it anymore. Discontinued. So if you want to make an everyday classic cuffed hat by Pearl Soho, highly recommend the Premier Everyday Soft Anti-Pilling yarn. It's perfect. I will link it directly down below. They have tons of colors. They just don't have it in heather. And then I got a Facebook message from a lovely viewer of this podcast named Dawn, who was like, I have a few balls of this yarn. I'm not going to use it. Would you like it? And I was like, heck yes, I would. This is one of my favorite yarns to make into hats and gift to people. I can't even count how many hats I've made with this. I want to say I've made 3 or 4 blue hats and 6 or 7 of the gray in my time knitting, all knit. And she sent them to me, and I was just not expecting there to be this many. There is 9, 10, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 balls of this yarn. That means I can make 10 more hats plus leftovers. I could probably get another 2 or 3 hats out of. Delightful. It's Premier Everyday Anti-Pilling, blue, heather, etc., etc. Although this one doesn't have Deborah Norville's face on it, so it must be a newer version of that yarn. Deborah Norville collection, but it's like clearly the same exact yarn, right? What happened to Deborah? Should we be worried about her? Where did she go? I don't even know who she is. Big in the yarn industry for a while, I guess. So yes, 3 and 7. I just am so excited about this. Thank you so much, Dawn. I'm so excited to have that blue yarn because I will absolutely use it. It may take me a long time, but when someone needs a hat because they're going through something, I'm going to use that yarn to make them a hat, and I'm going to think about you, and my heart will be full to overflowing, and I'll just be really excited. So thank you for thinking of me and sending that over. I am so happy to put that in my stash to make more hats with. The other Happy Mail I got, I am not going to show you because I have to make a separate video about it. And by have to, I mean I'm so excited to make a separate video about it. I just haven't had 5 minutes to myself. This is the longest amount of time that I have not been bothered. And in fact, I have been bothered because somebody needed their butt wiped. Okay? Like the nap times, Noah was sick last week. It's just a disaster. But I got a very special Happy Mail package. It wasn't for me, it was for my kids. And they each got one, and they have been over the moon about them. In fact, I wasn't expecting Noah to get one. And I then wasn't expecting him to be as attached to it as he was. I don't know why I'm being secretive. I'm going to record a video about this, but I'm just going to tell you, okay? If you've watched this far, you deserve to know. It's Jen from Cinnamon Stitches made my kids her sleeping Dragosaurus pattern, which it's on my list. Like, I need to make that. And I think the next time someone around me has a baby, I'm going to be like, I have to make that for them. It is to die for cute. Like, I will link it down below. Hopefully editing me has linked it. If not, type in Sleeping Dragosaurus, Cinnamon Stitches. The tutorial will pop up. It is so, so stinking cute. I will make a whole video about it. You will see them. But she made a purple one for Nova, which was originally named Pringles, but then she changed it to Grapes for no apparent reason because this is how 4.5-year-olds' brains work. And it has been in her bed every night. She's been sleeping with it. And Noah has a green one that is named Pickles, and he won't let that thing out of his sight. It has become one of his most treasured possessions. He won't go to sleep without it. When he is sad, he goes and finds it, and it has been loved so aggressively. Oh, they're so cute. Anyways, I'm going to make a separate video, and I'm going to try and get some clips of them playing with it. I mostly have clips of Noah holding Pickles and looking real sad because he was sick last week, and he would just hold it and be like, so every night before bed, he demands that I kiss Pickles and then kiss him on the head. So cute. Anyways, I am tired, y'all. I'm tired because I have low iron. I'm tired because of the summer, and I'm tired of this crap. If you also are tired of this crap, what are we gonna do about it? I don't freaking know. What are we gonna do? Nothing. Nothing. We're gonna keep crocheting. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna breathe. We're gonna meditate on I shouldn't say little, on our giant meditation rug. We're gonna pull out our sewing machine once every 17 months to make one perfect hem. We're gonna chug a Coca-Cola before we have to run around the park with our kids and then record a podcast. And we're gonna just keep swimming. Just keep swimming, just keep swimming. What do? We swim. So, until I see you again, be kind to yourself. Happy crafting. Happy first week of school. If I could scream and jump up and down without waking up this baby, I would. Trust me, Nova feels the same way. I have to go or I'm going to keep rambling indefinitely and you'll never escape me. Just want to say a huge thank you to all of my members and Patreon supporters. Y'all have been such a rock for me this summer. This summer has been a cluster in many, many, many ways. And I appreciate everyone who watches this channel, but an extra huge thank you to those of you who are there for me in that way. It has held me tethered to the earth this summer. I appreciate y'all times a zillion. So until I see you again, happy crafting. Bye.